obviously it didn't go really the way we wanted it to. But, we fought really hard. Really proud of what the team did to even get here. It's just been a long year, like in terms of it's like one hit after the other, but it was really cool to watch the team kind of work through that. Like I said, last weekend was a grind. Luckily we were able to stay in the winners bracket last week in our conference tournament, but we had different people stepping up to be able to get here. We got people that aren't maybe quite ready to be in the starting lineup yet out there. We got a lot of people out of position, and I think this weekend probably you step up to level competition with it. It catches up with you a little bit, And last weekend, close games, and things kind of maybe the ball bounced our way a little bit more. Came up with some really huge pitches. This weekend, that kind of stuff catches up with you. I'm just thinking last night, obviously West Texas did some really great things, but also I think some innings were extended or bigger because we got people maybe not able to make plays like we would hope. And then today I think it really hurt us, especially early in the game. Really proud of this kid to the right of me. I mean, her line is not going to look good in terms of stats, but a lot of those are stuff, again, that's fallen, and it's just, it's kind of the hand that we're dealt, and super proud, even that last inning, tough at-bats, trying to make some things happen.
So for the second straight game, falling behind the 8-ball, you get those 3 runs in the first and then the second. Just so tough for a team, especially when you have all these moving parts and kids not used to playing in certain positions.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. The last 2 games, we're starting behind the ball, so to speak, with giving up the lead there at the beginning. And it, again, kind of going back to just like we didn't have anything necessarily bouncing our way. So all these balls were kind of C&I singles a lot is what started it, and those are tough, because your pitchers are hitting their spots, they're doing what they need to do, and then those are kind of like the backbreakers, but that happens in softball sometimes. Just like injuries happen, you don't necessarily expect or plan for so many sometimes, or so many bloops to kill you in a row. But it's probably a really good way to sum up that game our year, to be honest with you. But again, they fought, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it seemed like the wind played a little bit of a factor. I know that infield, the shortstop, it was definitely tough. I mean, you could probably attest to that for sure. That as much as it was blowing, that could have ended the inning and you would have been out of it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, maybe the wind played a factor.
Yeah.
You tell me.
And again, I'm sure it did, obviously. And again, not that Cass hasn't played the infield, but when you're constantly moving around, it's not like she has a ton of reps at shortstop and getting reads all the time on stuff. I mean, stuff like that just is things that take time to read, and so it's one of those things like, yeah, it hurt, but that's again what we're kind of like dealing with, and yeah, it's just like, of course that would happen, and then we're gonna dump one over the first baseman, then we'll dump one over the third baseman, and then they get the hit, like 3 batters later, but. That's sometimes it just wasn't in the cards.
Yeah, the last thing I'd say about these things in terms of the game itself, I mean, the pitching, it just seemed like the first 3 innings just took forever. Just the wear on your pitchers and wear in the defense, just waiting, and that just seemed to play a part too.
Oh, yeah. Cass has a lot of innings on her right now, especially like the last month. What she did the last weekend of regular season against Mesa, obviously you can see what kind of team Mesa is. I mean, we had 2-1 ball games. That's her on the mound through 15 innings, and then going up in conference tournament, she threw over 25 innings of all intense ball, a lot of pitches. You come here, it's a quick turnaround, and again, you're going up in level a little bit in competition, and so that wears. That's when you kind of got to have things continue to bounce your way. Those balls, hopefully, you're going right at the defenders, and this weekend, that didn't happen.
So Cassidy, just give us some of your quick thoughts on the game. I know it was tough for you to get through some innings, but you battled through it, and maybe just talk about the battling that you're going to go out there and do what you can, whatever you can for this team.
Yeah, I know a lot of a lot of what Coach said was right. I think that we fought really well, and I don't think that last game represented our season and how far we've come and all the work we put in and all the crap we had to deal with. And I think that we showed a lot of heart this last month or so.
I mean, from a player's perspective, talk about moving everybody around, so many injuries. I mean, you talk to the players probably a little bit more than Coach does. What's that like, or how difficult is it to watch it out there?
I mean, I think we rolled with it pretty well. I mean, we did what we could. I mean, of course, we struggled at times, but anybody would struggle in a new position and learn new things. But I honestly think that it was a good effort. Like, there wasn't anybody that I was like, she just doesn't get it. Like, you know what I mean? I think we all kind of just found our way and just kind of rolled with it.
Can you give me a synopsis of the season, a little bit of how much fun it was, and while there was the trying times, you made that great run at the end, and even to get to this point, I'm sure you guys were just really proud of what you did.
Yeah, no, we worked really, really hard to be here. I think that people don't really see that, you know what I mean? But it's just like the hours of practice and like games, like grinding games and grinding out at bats. I think that's what represents why we're here in long games. Like, and the season was just great, and we all worked together, and we all just meshed really well together.
You're a junior, you're coming back. How excited are you for next season? I mean, you bring back a ton of talent that you have this year.
I'm pumped. I'm really pumped, but it's also super bittersweet, I think. One more year here, but we're just going to make the best of it.
For sure. So, Calissa, usually we see you make some incredible plays. How much did that win affect you guys out there?
I don't know. I think sometimes it is just tough when you don't get things your way, you know, and like we were talking about before, pitchers are just working so hard up there, and it's so hard when you just get little bloop hits that no one can really do anything about. So,
talk about falling behind the 8 ball as a player, knowing like, oh, now it's 3-0, oh no, now it's 6-0. But what's the mindset and trying to get back into that game?
you know, I just think you got to continue to tell yourself that we can all do it and grind it out, and know that you're going to go in the dugout and give your best up to bat, and know that we can do it together. You know, just string things together.
And for you in this season, you won Best Defensive Player of the Rowdies, whatever that's worth. And then you just, I mean, you had so many great plays this year. It just seemed like you really had a good passion and showed it out in the field this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes defense is my thing, and I think I'm really comfortable in center, and I love playing out there, and I just want to give it all for my teammates, and especially just, you know, working behind Cass. We've been doing that for so many years now, and, you know, I just want to give it all for my pitchers and my defense.
So, Coach, now that the season's over, you lose 3 seniors, and they all have great stories. The next year, you have so many players coming back.
Yeah.
Your core is really coming back next year, and so that's got to be exciting for you.
Oh, it definitely is. You know, it's hard because you just went through a whole year,
Yeah.
and we accomplished a ton. Like, I'm never somebody who's like just happy to get there, but at the same time, like what Cass said, like how much work they had to do to get here is pretty amazing. Like, I've told other people, especially after last weekend, I've coached other teams in the past with more talent and obviously less injuries, you know, and experience and all that. If some of those teams would have what this team had, maybe I would have raised more trophies or something in the past. But like she was talking about how much hours and work in the practice, they had to do that to get here. You know, there's other teams that can kind of just have all that talent and they walk out and it comes easily. It didn't come ever easily to this team. Like, even, like, we have a good amount of wins. Like, probably if you would have told me this time last year this is who we're rolling out in the field with, I probably would have fallen off the chair and be like, what happened? You know, I didn't even know one of the kids, a couple of them, yet a year ago. And so, like, yeah, like, they had to do that to get here. And that's hard. That's a hard choice to make sometimes on a daily basis when it's hard and you keep getting a hit after a hit and you're getting tired and all this. So, yeah, what this team has accomplished is just as big in terms of what, you know, what other people might look as bigger, but to see where they came from, you would have been there in San Diego to see us, you know, it was a little rough, little deer in the headlights for some people to get to this is pretty amazing.
Good. Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.